Whoa. Okay guys, I don't know how, but I have got a ton of standing water inside my kayak here, and I've got to head back to shore to see what the heck's going on. That is a lot of water. Well, there's a hole in my kayak. That means I gotta call it quits today. That sucks, because I was really determined to catch that big one today, and it's just not happening. I figured since I almost sank my boat, I ought to show you guys how I'm gonna fix it. We got ourselves a little hole right here. That's where all that water was coming in, and I do drag this boat on this part quite a bit. You can see this one hasn't punctured all the way yet, but it's about to, so we're gonna fix that one too. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and fix, where is it? This right here, right next to our heat gun. It's a pretty good gouge right there too. So what you're gonna need is a soldering tool, one that has different settings, different attachments, one that can help you melt plastic and spread it around a little bit. Then you need a bucket. The bucket that you're looking for says HDPE. That stands for high density polyethanol. Has that number 2 symbol. That is made of the same stuff as the kayak, and so when you melt the plastics together, they will dry together and it will seal up whatever holes are there. I already cut myself a small piece off of there, right there. I just used my soldering tool. I am working out of the back of my truck. I do not have tools with me. I'm visiting family, so I'm away. I don't have my normal tools. I had to go buy me a soldering kit and find an old bucket at my family's house. So we're working with what we have, and we're gonna make it work. So first off, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wipe away whatever dirt is on the places we're gonna fix. I'm not gonna get too crazy. I've seen some guys online sand this down a bunch and all that. I really don't think it's super necessary to sand all the edges down, because we're gonna be melting all this plastic up anyway. So just as long as you don't have big clumps of dirt and stuff in there, you should be fine. One thing that's really important is you wanna make sure that you heat up all of the surface that you're planning on fixing. So the plastics have to get to the same temperature and cool together in order for it to seal everything up. And you'll notice that is a pretty thin spot right there on this kayak. So I've got that nice and warmed up now, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start melting plastic off of this piece of the bucket and just kind of filling in around the edges and on this hole until we're able to get enough to cover everything up and smooth it over. I'm going to put it on pretty thick here just to strengthen this back up. It's not just to make it so it's waterproof, it's to make it so it's durable again. You notice here I just got this, and I'm just kind of melting some of the plastic off and adding it to, I'm going to try and plug this up as good as I can, fill it up really good. Hi Spider, come to say hello to us. Goodbye Spider. I'll probably go over this a couple of times just to make it nice and thick. So I just kind of put this thing over the top and I'm melting it into its place, spreading it around where necessary to thicken it and thin it in certain areas. And this is kind of a pain in the butt because I had a lot of trips planned depending on this kayak, on this trip I'm on visiting my family. I plan on hitting a lot of these mountain lakes here, and pretty much the first trip I go out, I run into a leaky boat. I've got to get this fixed quick in order to be able to take advantage of my trip up here. So it's actually feeling pretty good. I want it to be a little bit thicker though. I think I might even puncture this a little bit, just kind of fill this in as much as I can right here and try and push as much of this plastic down into that place as I can. Make sure it's connecting well with the plastic that's around it. Let's make that look nice and pretty. And by that, I mean good enough to work. And you'll notice there, I'm getting some good green color mixing with the gray bucket, and that's exactly what we want. That means that the plastic of the kayak is mixing with the plastic of the bucket and creating a perfect bond. Need to let it cool real good, and then that should be strong enough. It's actually, ouch, it's really hot still, but it's super solid. So go ahead and heat this up just a wee bit before I start. There we go, we got some melted plastic there. All right, so this one's drying. This one right here though,
super solid. Looks awesome. Give this one a second to dry and it should be good too. Now this spot right here is not quite going all the way through, but it's a pretty big gouge. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just make it tougher. Last thing I want is another one of my trips ruined because the water's leaking in. Don't want to go too crazy overboard on this one because it could affect the tracking. I don't think it would much, but it could if I put this big old chunky piece of plastic on there. I'm gonna try and smooth this one out as best I can so that it's not going to cause any problems with the tracking. Solid, solid, and solid. That's how you fix the holes in your kayak.